What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're going to talk about the all-new Typhon model from Balaguer Guitars. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you are doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take awesome high gain amps, guitars, cab speakers, overdrives, I record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes who love dogs more than people, you're in the right place. That's kind of a weird one. Consider hitting the like button on the way out and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss anything else. Thanks! Alright guys, so today you have asked for it time and time again, and I am finally going to deliver. I have been using these Balaguer Typhon model guitars in my videos for about the past 2 months. The two guitars that you see here, both the Silver Burst and the white one, are actually the prototype models that Balaguer used for all of their promotional material. And when I say they are the prototype models, I mean these are the guitars. Like, these are the only two guitars of this model for Balaguer that were in existence. So I have the actual two prototype models here, and they are now my guitars. Joe Balaguer has been a very good friend to me since pretty much the beginning of my YouTube channel a little over a year ago. He has been a very helpful guy and very generous. And I actually have become a fan of Balaguer guitars as I purchased my very own Espada over the summer, which you guys can see in a video linked below. But I absolutely fell in love with that guitar, and it was just a happy coincidence that Joe happened to be a really cool guy and a good friend, because if his guitars sucked, I wouldn't be sitting here making this video for you. It just so happened that that guitar became one of my very favorite guitars, and I still play it in a lot of videos. I play it at band practices and everything else. It just has been a wonderful addition to my collection. So when Joe told me earlier this year that they were going to be releasing a new V-type model in the Aether and an E-type model in the Typhon, I got really excited because those are both guitar shapes that I really like. Especially the E-types, I tend to gravitate towards those. Those of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while, you will recognize, White Explorer, kind of my thing. That's what I did a lot of my early videos on, was my white 91 Explorer. So I was excited to hear that they were coming out with models of those. So fast forward to around November, the promotional material for both of the new models had been released. My band Bushido Code was actually set to do a little 10-day tour in December. And I hit Joe up and I said, hey Joe, do you have anything in stock for sale with a Tune-O-Matic bridge, because that is just what I like when I'm standing playing. That's what feels comfortable and natural to me. And I wanted to get a Balaguer guitar to take on the road with me because I did love my Espada, but that has a hip shot style bridge on it, and that just, because the way that I play, I really like something with a Tune-O-Matic where the bridge sticks off the body a little bit more. That's just more what I'm accustomed to. So I hit Joe up, asked him if he had anything, and he actually mentioned this white Typhon right here. And I said, I am way into that, man. So send it out. What's your price? We'll make it work. And he said, we'll figure it out down the road. So I actually ended up taking this one on tour as my main guitar for 10 days through the winter in the Northeast. So this thing was in a cold van every single day, being brought into a warm venue, so it was constantly going through temperature changes and everything else, and it was literally rock solid for me. It was absolutely rock solid. I had no tuning issues, I had no intonation issues. This guitar, I would tune it up at the beginning of the set every night, and I would check tuning here and there in between songs, but really I never needed to do anything. So it was a really solid guitar to have on tour, especially in the middle of winter when your guitar is constantly going through temperature changes and everything, and it's gonna flex. It's made out of wood naturally, so I was really impressed by that. Not only that, this thing plays absolutely incredible. I love the setup on this. I did not have to do anything to it when I got it. He shipped it to me with the brand new USA Hypernova pickups. Now these are a modern ceramic style of pickup. They actually somewhat remind me of a Duncan Omega if you've ever played that pickup. It's very tight on the low end, rolled off on the high end with a very prominent mid-range, but it's not an annoying, quacky, prominent mid-range. It's just a mid-range that is present without being harsh, and they're a very clear, very articulate, very tight pickup. I actually became a fan of those very, very quickly. So taking this guitar on tour, I absolutely loved it, and I hit him up and I said, hey man, we gotta do a semi-custom or something. I wanna get another one of these in my life. And he mentioned he was selling this one right here. This is the Silverburst Typhon prototype model, and it is spec'd very similarly to the white one. However, this is a flat top model. So the flat top, you can get the pick guard on the flat top, and it's got body binding here, whereas the white one actually has a top bevel, and it makes it really thin on the top for an Explorer. It's very, very comfortable. It sits against your body very, very nicely. This top bevel was a very welcome addition in my opinion. In the pictures, when I initially saw it, I'm like, that's cool. Like, I kind of like the flat top look a little bit more. But now that I have this in my possession and I've played it, I can say this is the most comfortable Explorer style guitar that I've ever played because of this top bevel and because of the tummy cut. Now, the flat top does not obviously have a top bevel, but it does still have the tummy cut. So it is very comfortable to play standing up as well. But anyways, Joe sent me out the Silverburst Typhon with the full intent of me purchasing it off of him. And on both guitars, he actually gave them to me as a gift. But the reason that I'm telling you this is not to brag, but to tell you I want to be fully transparent. These guitars were given to me. Now, they were not given to me with the intent for me to make this video. I'm making this video because I absolutely love these guitars and I want to tell you guys about them. And you want to know about them because you ask me questions on them in the comments of all my videos all the time. So that's what this is for. Even with that being said, you guys are getting my honest opinion here, because if I didn't love these guitars as much as I do, I would not be making this video for you, and I would not be playing them in pretty much every demo that I have made since I got these guitars. They literally are the first guitars that I reach to every time I sit down to play or to make a demo, just because I know that they're gonna be in tune. I know the action is gonna be great. I know that they're gonna sound fantastic through any amp that I put them through, and they really just have become two of my absolute favorite guitars in my collection. So with that all being said, guys, let's go over some of the specs and let's hear how these guitars sound, because that's why you're here. You don't wanna hear me talk about them, you wanna hear these guitars. So both of these guitars feature a mahogany body, but the white Typhon features a roasted maple neck, which has been finished in a satin white finish on the back, whereas the Silverburst Typhon has a mahogany neck, but it has also been finished with a body matching Silverburst color, which is actually really cool on the neck of this, but it also has a satin finish. So both of the necks on these guitars are very playable. They don't get sticky because there's no poly finish on the back of the neck. They're nice and smooth. Both necks of these guitars also feature a volute. So if you drop it, if something happens and it falls off the stand or something like that, the chances of the headstock breaking on these is very, very slim. So I always like when guitars have a volute for that reason. Coming from Gibson guitars, it's very easy to break the headstocks on those. I've done it myself more than once, unfortunately. But these are gonna be rock solid and they'll probably stand the test of time, getting beat up and everything. I can already tell you I dropped the white one once on accident, and obviously it's still good to go. We're still here. So on top of that, on the headstock of both of these, and you can custom order these with the Semi-Custom Select online guitar configurator. So these guitars are not standard production models. You can go to Balaguer.com and configure these guitars any way you want. Balaguer has a ton of options and you really can make these guitars your own. You can make them very personal, but on these two guitars, we have two different headstocks. We've got a standard headstock on the Silverburst and we have the reverse headstock on the white finish guitar. But both of these guitars feature locking tuners. Locking tuners are a huge plus for me. They make string changes very easy, especially on the go. On the biggest show that we played on tour, I broke a string on this guitar. So in between songs, while Mike was talking to the crowd, I literally ripped a string out of this thing, threw a new one on, and had it tuned up in less than a minute. And that's because the locking tuners, you literally can just pull it tight, lock it down, and then tune it up Very, very nice to have on the road, and they are very solid tuners. Like I said, I have had no issues with tuning or anything on either of these guitars, especially the white one that I took on tour. It was solid for me every single night. So moving to the pickups again, like I said, both of these guitars actually came with the Hypernova pickups in them. And this one, we have a covered black set. On this one, I changed the bridge pickup out, but the only reason I changed it is because I used this guitar to record with my band Human Animal recently, and the bridge pickup was just a little bit too modern for the style that we were going for. We're more of like a 90s punk hardcore band, so I wanted a little bit more traditional pickup. So I went ahead and threw just a Duncan distortion in the bridge of this guitar, and the guitar sounds great with both pickups, but I'm gonna leave the Duncan distortion in there just so I have a little variety between the two. But the Hypernovas, again, are very tight, very crisp, very clean sounding, a little rolled off on the highs, a nice mid bump. And then the distortion in this guitar, you guys probably are familiar with what a distortion sounds like. But again, on Balaguer's online guitar configurator, you can choose from a multitude of pickups. They have multiple third-party brands, including Fishman, Bare Knuckle, and Guitarmery. And then they also have their in-house brand pickups, which are definitely no slouches. I am super happy with all the Balaguer pickups that I have, and I have a few different models, so don't be afraid to try those Balaguer pickups out either. Now, as far as the bridge on both guitars feature Tune-o-matic locking bridges. On the necks of these guitars, we have ebony fretboards on both guitars, and one really nice thing about Balaguer guitars is all of their models feature stainless steel frets. That is a huge bonus in my opinion. That is a huge selling point because stainless steel frets are kind of becoming the thing, and a lot of guitars on their higher end models are moving to stainless steel frets because not only are they smoother and nicer to play, but they are gonna last you forever. You're not gonna have to refret a guitar with stainless steel frets. And personally, I like the way that they feel and I like the way that they sound a little better. They're a little brighter, a little snappier, and they're just extremely smooth to do bends and stuff like that on. If you're not a belligerent amateur like myself, they feel very, very nice under the fingers when you're playing leads and everything. So stainless steel frets on every model that you get from Balaguer, that is a huge plus. Now, the only complaint that I had about these guitars when I got them is the strap button came on the top of both of them. And I actually had to manually move that myself because with the strap button where it just sat uncomfortably on my body. It felt like the guitar was kind of sticking out a little bit as opposed to sitting where it should. So I just took the liberty of moving the strap button to the back of the guitar. Now that's very much a personal preference. That's not really something that's set in stone or anything. So keep that in mind, but I did have to move the strap buttons in order for them to sit comfortably on my body where I wanted them to. But overall, yeah, I mean, the features that you get on these guitars and the ability to customize them to your own personal liking, you know, getting a customized Explorer. There's just not a lot of guitar companies out there. I mean, you can find a lot of guitar companies that'll probably make you some sort of semi-custom, like Tele or Strat or something like that, but Explorers and Vs, I mean, you're talking custom shop $5,000 guitars to get, you know, a custom V or a custom Explorer the way that you want it configured. So having these models in Balaguer's lineup, in my opinion, is an absolute huge bonus for people like me who don't want to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a custom guitar. They want to spend a reasonable price to trick out a guitar to their liking, spec it out aesthetically the way that they want, and also get the scale. I mean, these both have 25.5-inch scale, but you can order them with 24 3/4. You can order them in a baritone scale. I mean, the options that Balaguer gives you are pretty much endless. So like I said, these are both prototype models, but they're spec'd out basically as I would have spec'd them out myself, and I am super, super happy with these guitars. So yeah, with all that being said, let's go ahead and hear how these sound, because all the specs don't matter if the guitars sound like crap. These guitars certainly do not sound like crap. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me today on the Balaguer Typhon guitars. If you would like to check out the Typhon model for yourself, or just go online and see what Balaguer has to offer, including the custom select guitar or bass configurator, go to balaguerguitars.com and start building your own dream guitar today. If you guys have any further questions on the specs of these guitars or any questions on Balaguer guitars in general, put them down there in the comments and I will be sure to go down there and answer them for you. If you'd like to support what I do here and support the channel, consider going into the description of this video and checking out all my support links, including the Sweetwater affiliate link, or consider becoming a member of my Patreon like these fine people listed over here and helping to support and fund the channel that way. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope that you found this video helpful. We'll see you next time.